What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Thursday edition of the Pandemic Update for Thursday, June 27th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, this is where we do the daily pandemic update on all things COVID and any other virus that could be a health threat to you. Let's face it, there are a lot of different viruses out there, and each of them carry a risk to you, but you hardly ever hear about them on the news. I bet if you ask the average person right now, they would not even know that there is an ongoing COVID surge in the United States. There is, you hear bits and pieces about it, but you don't hear much about it. And a lot of people are starting to get sick once again. That people also did not know how much H5N1 is spreading. Yes, we're going to talk about that today as well. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe down below to help keep yourself informed. Want to keep other people informed? Share these videos with anyone you know. Give this a thumbs up. The more people that hit that thumbs up button, the more YouTube will push out this content. Let's go ambitious today. Let's try for 150 like button hits. And of course, leave your comments down below. Alrighty, starting off today with a very busy news day. Wow, I'm just looking at all the tabs I have up here. And we're going to be going through quite a few things today. First off, the governor of Connecticut, Ned Lamont, is to work remotely after testing positive for COVID. Sounds like he was on vacation in Colorado, and he was feeling slightly under the weather. Out of precaution, he took a COVID test, and well, it came back positive. So he does have COVID at this time. And moving on to this now. Country music legend Willie Nelson has to cancel more tour performances. Unfortunately, he is feeling ill at this time. Mind you, he is 91 years old, but again, he is sick at this time. They don't state what it is, and while we're speaking of music, we have another one. Neil Young and Crazy Horse cancel live dates due to illness, and yes, I am reading that he is canceling the remaining 2024 tour dates. So this sounds pretty serious. Not only is he sick, several band members are sick as well. There have been a ton of people in the entertainment industry sick lately. Stevie Nicks was sick. Jeff Dunham, who is a comedian and, ventriloquist. I mean, on and on the list goes. And with illnesses being on the rise right now, I think that is only going to continue. Again, we don't know if any of these are COVID. For contract reasons, for insurance purposes, for many different reasons, oftentimes these performers cannot state whether or not it is COVID. Alright, moving on to this now. Over in Australia, almost a 40% increase in influenza cases over a week in NSW. More than 12,000 cases of influenza have been reported in NSW over the past week, with a significant impact on hospital emergency departments. And it actually says here in the headline, emergency departments slammed as flu rates soar across NSW. And mind you, they just had recently peaked for COVID. At least I think they have. Last I saw, they were starting to drop now. Hopefully that is still the case. And now they're getting hit hard with flu, so it is just not a good situation. And now moving over to Ireland. Number of recorded COVID-19 cases increases by 60% in 1 week. More than 1,000 confirmed cases of disease, as numbers in hospital with infections rises from 312 to 486. So it's not just people testing positive. You can see there, it's a pretty decent size, pretty big size increase in hospitalizations over in Ireland as well, though be it probably lower than previous waves from other years. An increase is an increase, and that's a significant size increase. All right. Moving on to this now, over in San Francisco. I told you, it's a very busy news day. In San Francisco, at a county jail, 42 people have now tested positive for COVID, and we archived this on our website. If you want to read stuff from our website, it's datareport.info. You can see here we have a COVID-19 section with many different categories. We have COVID variants, treatments, all kinds of different stuff. We posted that thing about remdesivir on there yesterday, and we talk about COVID in kids, studies, outbreaks. We just read an outbreak, people who have tested positive, other viruses, all kinds of different stuff. You can sign up to become a member for free. It costs nothing, and you can post too. It's datareport.info. All right, moving on now to this. I posted a poll yesterday. This did get quite a few votes. Have you lost friends over taking COVID seriously? I probably should have added, have you lost friends and or family over taking COVID seriously? 86.7% of people said yes, 13.3% said no, and a vast majority of people said yes in the comments sections. We're not gonna read all these comments. We'd be here quite a while, and some of them, it's really sad what it has come to for some families. This is out of 1,205 votes, so it's a lot of votes. Once again, 86.7% say yes, 13.3% said no. Still 5 hours left, so that vote count will probably go even higher yet. All right, moving on to this H5N1 news. We're going to read this news story first, and then I do have a news story of my own with H5N1. H5N1 detected in 2 additional Iowa dairy herds. It's continuing to spread in Iowa, and it's the 13th time H5N1 has been discovered within dairy cattle in the state. And I can tell you what, H5N1 is a real issue. I can't say what I have seen was H5N1, but I'm hearing so many reports here, and I'm in Pennsylvania now, mind you. We have not reported any H5N1 detected in dairy herds yet, but I've seen a lot of people seeing animals, just regular wildlife, that is visibly sick at daytime. For example, I was out for a bike ride today, and I went past a raccoon that, it's daytime. Raccoons really shouldn't be out in the daytime. And this one, I went by it at a rather fast rate because it was not looking well. It was very thin. It looked very unhealthy. Then I heard a story recently here in Pennsylvania, once again, southeast Pennsylvania. Someone yesterday, no, 2 days ago, saw a fox that visibly looked sick. And then I saw in a community group on social media someone saying they saw a sick animal as well. They did not, I don't think they specified what the animal was, but yes, that's 3 cases in just a couple days. And meanwhile, Pennsylvania somehow has no dairy outbreaks. I find it very hard to believe, and I think this virus, I hate to say, I really don't want to speculate, but I think this virus is spreading more than we know about, and hopefully we get some more answers about this pretty soon. And it wouldn't surprise me if we start to see this really unravel in the news, or something's going on and we're just not hearing about it. I don't know, but I can just tell you locally, people are visibly seeing animals sick, and that is not normal. Just a year ago, that was not the case. I just saw in Pennsylvania, again, this is different. This is probably chronic wasting disease, but up in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, someone posted a picture on social media of a deer that visibly looked very sick. It was very thin. It clearly had chronic wasting disease. Why is that a concern? Well, hasn't really been up in that part of the state yet, so hopefully they contacted the Game Commission, and they're probably going to have to do another chronic wasting disease management area. All right, moving on because we have a lot more things to get through. UK had its update today. The weekly update out of the UK is not good. 2,815 new weekly cases. That is up by 707, or otherwise 33.5%. Deaths are up by 7. That's up by 5%. And I'm going to refresh this because it does not look to me like we had an update in healthcare. Hasn't updated since May. Maybe they only update it once a month. So hopefully next week's update will include an update on the hospitalization situation. But again, cases are rising. Deaths are rising slightly, but more so these cases rising. The UK and their positivity rate here, as of June 15th, it's saying it is 11.2%. Drum roll, please. Let's take a look at today's pollen levels. 59% of the country is in low to medium status. And you do see here, there is a lot of green today. But you also note that there is some yellow in the west coast. And that's really where the worst of the pollen is right now. It's not a bad day here in the Northeast. My allergies did not bother me too bad at all, of course. I take my Allegra, which is what my doctor wanted me to take for allergies. Started that over a year ago, and I take that throughout allergy season, or even sometimes in the wintertime. If I feel I'm having allergies, I take an Allegra. All right, moving on now to air qualities, and you're going to see some improvement in this as well if it does come up. The East Coast, the Northeast, is doing much better today, or at least it was when I looked at it just a little bit ago. And unfortunately, the West Coast still has its hot spots, and eventually these colors will expand. And yes, there are still some hot spots in the West Coast in California, but the good takeaway today is the East is starting to do better. You can see the plains, not terrible. There are some random sites that are, coming up room. What's this going on in Colorado? Not sure why. There's just a random site there. And you can see here while the Northeast is doing better, the Southeast, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, not doing too good. And oh my, look at this! Actually, over the last couple hours, a little bit of a yellowish green, even some yellows popping up in Baltimore. So that's starting to go up a little bit. But again, it's not as bad as it was the past few days, and it's not something we're really going to get terribly concerned about. At least not until probably maybe tomorrow or Saturday. What you see down to the south, that will eventually expand northeastward. You want to learn more about what's going on with the weather and the climate? Well, I have another place where I do that. It is over on X. It is Climate Data Report. Hey, look at that, 444 followers. Let's keep that going up. I want to inform as many people as possible. And yes, we're talking about the tropics over there, and we're also talking about the tropics over on my YouTube channel, Climate Data Report. I did a video about it today, and there's other stuff going on in the United States. We're getting a little bit of a break in the heat in the Northeast, which is why we're not talking about the heat-related illnesses. But don't worry, we're going back to showing that again tomorrow. The heat will eventually come back. All right, moving on back to the pandemic and other health-related stuff, such as this. EMS calls in Philadelphia on Wednesday, 849. So it was another high day. Unfortunately, summertime, this is what happens. Let's see what's going on in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. We see there are 12 calls right now, and one thing that is sticking out to me is a water rescue. There's no bad weather going on right now. Someone swimming where they shouldn't be swimming, I don't know. Respiratory emergency comes up a couple times, alter mental status, and several other things. Taking a look now at Chester County. Let's see, can we get this? There we go. Respiratory difficulty, unconscious person, overdose, hypertension, heart problems. It is 6:18, usually a little bit slower at this time of night, which is good to see. And I've been watching from time to time today. Hasn't been a terribly busy day, which is some welcomed news. Taking a look at Pennsylvania, which did do its update for the wastewater today, and it doesn't look like there's been much change. Monroe County, Pennsylvania, coming in with large increases. Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, is coming in with an increase. Also is Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Also seen an increase out in Cumberland County. Still an increase in Center County. Also Indiana and Allegheny County seeing increases as well. Everywhere else is seeing no change or insufficient data at this time. And it looks like all the sites listed on this map are updated. Taking a look at what's going on with Walgreens. National positivity rate this week is 34.1%. Total test, 4,601. Taking a look at what's going on in Canada for wastewater. 16 sites show an increase, 39 with no change, 10 showing a decrease, 42 new sites, 16 low sites, 6 moderate sites, and 1 high site. Taking a look at wastewater scan, which finally did a correction from its craziness that was on the charts. And we can see nationally, COVID, the overall trajectory is going upward. But you do note here, we do have to note, it looks like it has slowed off a little bit. You notice here, it looks like it's not going up as much. We'll have to see what comes to that. Mind you, 4th of July is next week. So even if it slows off a little bit, there's going to be a lot of gatherings, a lot of things going on. We'll probably see things go right back up once again for at least a few more weeks. When this wave will actually end, I can't give you that answer, but there's a good bet that there will be people getting sick over the 4th of July holiday. Family cookouts, barbecues, family reunions, family vacations, all those holiday traditions, they're coming out next week. And yes, just because you're having your thing outdoor doesn't mean you can't catch COVID. You can catch COVID outdoors too. Is it safer outdoors? Yes, but it's not foolproof, and you still can test positive. These big concerts, we're 50, 60, 70, sometimes even 100,000 people show up. And yes, they are super spreaders for COVID, even outdoors. Taking a look at RSV, influenza A, influenza B, all low at this time. We're not concerned about that. Let's go to the other regions of wastewater scan, and we can see here the Midwest is now seeing its rise for COVID. The Northeast at this time is also seeing its rise, or was seeing its rise. Now it's doing one of these funky things where the Northeast is dropping, and this is over multiple updates. So maybe it is dropping. I got a feeling this will probably correct once again. Who knows? It's wastewater scans. Sometimes they are just very erratical for some reason, such as this. Look at the South. Suddenly we have one of those big rapid rise things in the South. Yeah, it's not making any sense to me. It's not really actually going up that fast. If you see someone try and post a image on social media, say, oh, it's going straight upward in the southward. No, they're just looking at this saying, oh, well, I guess that's what it is. No, it does correct itself over time. They just are very slow to correct it for some reason. I don't understand why. The West Coast. Now, this could very well be believable. The West Coast really got the ball going on a wave first, and now the West Coast is starting to see somewhat of a drop. I really hope that is the case because the West has been getting hit pretty hard. You just saw, though, San Francisco at a jail, there is an outbreak going on, a rather big outbreak. So outbreaks are still happening, meaning they're still in the midst of a pretty significant wave at this time. All right, moving on to some CDC data. All this is going to update tomorrow. Epidemic status is growing and likely growing in the majority of states, or stable or uncertain. It's not declining anywhere. Taking a look at what's going on with the latest variant, KP.3 is at 33.1%, KP.2 is at 20.8%, and LB.1 is at 17.5%. I do believe the next variant update is not tomorrow, but will be next week. Yes, this is as of June 22nd. So next week will be hopefully the next variant update. I don't know. 4th of July falls on Thursday next week. Will they take Friday off? Who knows? We'll have to see what actually comes of that. New Jersey, I can't really report much for you for New Jersey today. Yeah, it says 70 out of 70 hospitals reported, but 34 hospitalizations. We obviously know that is an incorrect number. Taking a look at what's going on in New York State today, no update on their cases. It still says 1,180. Taking a look at New York State hospitalizations, good news here. They actually did drop today. Yes, yesterday, remember, they were at 799. Day before, they were at 759. Today, 755, the lowest number all week, and the ICU number is at 76. Taking a look at what's going on in Colorado, let me refresh this to make sure it is up to date. And in Colorado this week, we do note that the hospitalizations are up by 3. The positivity rate, it looks like it is down a little bit to 7.6%. Cases reported this week, 1,115. So with the positivity rate dropping, perhaps maybe more people opted to take a COVID test this week. Emergency department visits diagnosed with COVID is now at 0.9%. And drum roll, please. Hopefully LA has come in because we are pretty late today. And usually when we're late, LA has updated. And here you go. LA hospitalizations. Looks to be that they continue to rise at this time. As of the 22nd, they had 153 people in the hospital. It looks like deaths are not rising at this point. Cases do continue to rise in Los Angeles, California. They're up to, looks like the daily average is of 210 cases, or 210 cases were reported on the most recent day. And you can see here, testing positivity rate. Wow, that is now up to over 6%. Wastewater, looks like that's starting to continue to rise as well. And emergency department visits also continue to rise at this time. So no peak in Los Angeles, California just yet. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Thursday edition of the Pandemic Update. Wow, that was a lot of news and information that we brought to you today. See, if you want to stay informed like this, we just did an over 19-minute video, while when you watch the news, your health report is 30 seconds. But meanwhile, all this stuff is new for today. Yeah, that's a lot of new stuff in one day. That's why you need something like this. You need to stay informed. All right, if you enjoyed this, you felt you were informed, give it a thumbs up. Again, let's try for 150 like button hits today. Subscribe down below if you are new. Share these videos with anyone you know. Hit that notification bell. And of course, leave a comment down below. Let me know, how am I doing here? All right, am I doing something good here? Am I doing just absolutely terrible? Let me know. Let me know down below. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Thursday evening. Thanks for watching.